Hello everyone, I'm back with a design team project for this month for Rach and Bella Crafts. The main kit I'm using this month is called Eastern Promise Journal Kit, and I'll just quickly go through it. My printer is actually running out of ink, so this is slightly faded I think to what it would be, but to me it's very usable. This is the Vintage Collage Tear Papers, which I've printed on very lightweight layout paper. So I've got a few pages of that. I've got a couple of images from the Abbott Fuller Graves sheets. Obviously these are all Rach and Bella crafts, and the links will be below in the description box. This one may or may not go, this one definitely will. And I've also got their Nana's Roses kit from the collaboration, and there may be a few pieces in there that tone in and go with this, so I might use a few bits out of that. The next piece of this video will be I'll show you the end product, and then there may be tutorials for them. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to film those and see how they go. So see you in a second. So this is some of what we're going to make. These are the ones that there will be a sort of tutorial with after this. So this was the first one, and this is you know, around the page for your journal, which you can clip on. Put a couple of tags in there and you can write on the inside of that. This is a little Happy Mail ephemera holder, just a tag with a pocket and a few bits and bobs in there, including this from the kit, and a journal card, again with papers from the kit. So these three, there will be a tutorial for that you can follow. I might make a few other things, and they will be right at the end of the video, a sort of show and tell. So thank you for watching if you're going to watch. If this is all you need, great, and that's not a problem. I'll see you all soon. So our first project is this very simple page wrap for a junk journal. And I've got 2 book pages here. They're quite thin, which is why I'm using 2, and they're approximately 8, I think they're 8, just over 8, 8¼ by 10 3/4. And the first thing I'm going to do is just tag them together just in the middle there with a bit of glue stick. Eventually these are all going to get sewn together, so we'll do it all as one. So I want to make a pocket, and I'm turning over at the bottom here. I don't know what that is, about 3/8, so ½ an inch. Okay. And I'm just going to turn that over and stitch a zigzag along there. So just bear with me while I do that. This is just showing you the sort of basic structure. We want to turn that up to a pocket size, so I'm turning it up, yeah, about 3 inches. And then we're going to turn that over and fold it that way. Because of the thickness of the paper, it's at this point I try and reinforce the fold lines a little bit. And this will pull in here this is what's going to wrap around our journal page. So our journal page would be something like this, and we've got a wrap around with a double pocket. So I'm going to work out how I want to decorate these pockets. I'll probably leave the tops as book page, and we are going to stitch all around this once I've decorated it. So give me a minute and I'll come back and show you what I've decided to do. So I've cut these pieces from the cover sheet with the smaller designs on, and I've stitched them onto here. I've used some labels from another designer. If you're interested in that, I will list those underneath in the description. And now I'm going to stitch round the whole of the edges. I'll probably go along the bottom as well, but what I try and do with this, if I stitch it completely flat here, this is going to pull and create a little dip. It doesn't matter too much, but what I'm going to try and do is stitch it folded, if you like. So I'm going to put it in my sewing machine like this, so that I catch this pocket sort of slightly in. It's hard to describe, but you can see that it's just pulling in slightly because of this fold here. So I want to stitch it pulled in. So I'm going to go away and do that, find something to put in the pockets, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've cut the tags from the sheet and I've cut them inside the lines, and I've cut the tops off. In retrospect, I could have cut it there and done the covering. You'll see what I mean in a minute, but anyway, I've mounted them onto thin card, and I've cut them 1/2 inch taller at the top. I found some sort of contrasting type. It's the same colour but gothic type, and I'm just going to torn a bit over here. Just going to tear that off, and this is going to go over the top. Just to cover that up. Just using my Scotch glue stick. And then just to dress up the bottom a bit, I'm keeping this very simple. I've just cut another bit that will fit on the bottom, or torn another bit that will fit on the bottom there. So that's going on there. That off, and that little bit there. I want a tag shape, so I'm just going to cut the tag shape. I'm going to straight stitch around the edge, but I'm going to do that off camera, and I will put an eyelet in the top and tie a little bit of crinkled seam binding on. For the centre, I decided it would be nice to have some writing space, so I've cut down another of the sheets, this one. So all I've done for that is cut the two lined pieces, 3.5 by 6.5. I've stitched them and then just glued the edges down using a white glue, so that makes it a bit more functional, and this is how the tag will end up. So I've just done that one, that side, and this one I'll finish off with the stitching and the eyelet in the top, and that'll be in that side, and that's our round the page piece of ephemera, or you could stuff these pockets full with other bits of ephemera and use it as happy mail. So that's the tutorial for the wraparound double pocket, and I will carry on in a little while with something else, the others, which I showed you earlier. Okay, so this time we're going to make a simple tag with a pocket, I think. So I'm going to use one of the tear papers to cover this piece of card, which is 3.5 by 6.5. So I am going to use glue stick. Cover the whole of that. I think for this one I will cover the back as well, so I'm just folding that over. Oops, big glob of glue there. Because I can see the edges of that card, I can just cut. So that's our base. And then we're going to use some of the pattern paper to make a pocket. Let's have a look. Which one should we use? I might use a piece of this one. So I'm just going to cut along the bottom. Cutting the strip off here and here. I want my pocket to be the full width of this, so I'm going to cut it at 4 inches, so 1/2 inch bigger, 4 inches by 3. So let me do that. So that will make a nice pocket. Sometimes think, I know you can get a small, oh, that should be 1/4 inch. Luckily I did that lightly. So we want 1/4 inch each side, just a light. Score. Just folding that in, just gently folding it in and then checking. Yep. Okay, so when we do that, I'm just going to ease it out slightly. always cut the actual tag down if it's too big. That's going to go on there. I will just take the edge off this tag so that it fits right to the side. I'm going to cut it down just slightly. Just feel that'll look better balanced. And we'll take a smidgen off the edge of this. Good enough. I just think I'd quite like this edge torn, just for a slightly different look. So I'm going to tear it this way so I don't get a white edge. And I'm going to ink that edge. Just using Distress ink. I think it's Vintage Photo I've got in there, but I'm not 100% sure. And now I want a bit of coffee dyed paper. I want it the same width as my inside. I'm going to reinforce this basically, because this paper, I think I told you I cut it quite thin. Printed it on quite thin copy paper. I usually use a thicker one, but I've run out of that. So, and then I'm going to tear the top of this and ink it. And then I'm going to glue that to that, so we've got an edge. Okay, so let's just glue that. Oh, I messed it up already. This is just a lazy way of doing it, really. About like that. Okay. Cut the bottom off. And then that's going to fit on there. Still need a little touch more off the edge of this. I know I'm fussy, but it's the only way I can do it. So that's going to glue on there, but before I glue it on, I'm going to do a row of stitching around here. Bear with me while I do that. Okay, so I've stitched round, I've still got this. I've cut one of the centres out of this sheet of paper, and I've backed it onto tea dyed paper, about 1/2 inch taller top and bottom. And I'm just going to cover that in the same way that I did the other tag, with a bit of this Gothic writing or text. If you turn it the other way, you can make sure you've got it level. Go up one, oops. to fold it over, but this gives it a bit more strength. So brittle it's torn off anyway. Okay, let's just get that straight. On the bottom, do the same. Okay, so that makes a nice little tag. I'm going to do the gluing now. This I've got to stitch round. The first thing I'm going to do is pop this pocket on. So I'm just gluing these little 1/4 inch flaps, and then just along the bottom, just a single line. Popping that on there. So that's our pocket. I found some crochet little bits to pop on. So again, I'm just using the white glue to stick that down, just to give that a bit of extra. And this piece is going to be on the top here, but I will stitch that on as I go round. So that's all that's going to be. So that'll go in there. I've got a Tim Holtz card in there as well. And we could add other things. I've got one of these out. We could pop that in. I'll try and find something that matched this. So I might have a look and see if I can find something that will match that. And I'm going to decorate this top corner. Let's just get rid of that. Just take these out just while the glue sets. I'm going to put an eyelet in this top corner. Can't remember if I was still recording then. I think I am. And we'll dress that up with a bit of seam binding. I'm struggling a bit with the colours. See, that's not quite right. It's a bit readier than that. That'll work. I buy these from Splattered Inky, which is an Etsy shop. Well, I say I buy them, sometimes I make them myself, but I'm quite lazy, and if somebody else is going to do it for me. So I'm just getting the length really there. Okay, so that tied through the top. She's wound round it, has just stuck on there. I just need to wet that to get that off. I'll do that later. I'll put this in. I shall stitch that, pop another couple of things in here, and then we'll move on to a journal card. So there it is finished. I've got a longer piece of ribbon. It's just nicer if you're generous with your ribbons and things. And I've popped in there, it holds quite a bit. So I've got a book page, that Tim Holtz card, a piece from the cigarette card album, the little mini tag we've made, and I found a blue cigarette card which I can just pop in there, which just picks up this blue. So we've sort of colour matched a little bit as well. So that's all in there. It would still take more actually. And if you're worried about things falling out, you could always put a clip on the side. So that's that one done, and we'll now move on. So this one's fairly straightforward. I've got a piece of card 4 inches by 6 inches, and I'm going to use another bit of this paper. I've used this piece already. Oh, everything's raining down on me. Right. I try not to get in a mess when I'm crafting, but you can see everything gets smaller and smaller, the space I'm working in. So glue stick all over the card. And then I'm going to pop that on the back there. Cut it off. To be honest, that's lovely on its own, but I am going to be covering some of this up. I am going to add a bit of interest to this, or what I think of as interest. So to start with, I've got a piece of embossed paper, dry embossed. I'm just going to tear just over 1 inch of that. That's going to go on the bottom. Get my Tim Holtz scissors out. There we go. So that's that. At the top here, we're going to have another border, and I'm going to use a little bit of this tear paper from Rach and Bella Crafts, and I'm just going to tear this piece off. So that's going to go up there. I quite like that it's got this bit of pink on, which picks up the pinks here. Glue stick's getting a little bit manky now, so we'll have that. She said I wanted that pink on there. Got a bit of glue on there because I bunched it up. I can't remember what this rubber's called, but it does lift the ink off a little bit. So let's get rid of that. And then to finish these edges off, I'm going to tear a little bit of this writing. I struggle with this a little bit, but let's see how we go. This is another of those tear papers. So the bottom one I'm going to have a bit wider. I've got 2 rows there. So that's going to sit across there. Let's just get rid of this. And then another piece for the top. Tear towards me, I don't get the white edge. Probably wouldn't get much of a white edge on this really thin paper anyway, but I don't know, it's just the way I always do it. So that's going to go across there. So I've got 2 rows of writing on this piece. Going to go across there. Across there. Okay. So this is nearly done. This paper that I did the embossing on is a really, really soft paper. It's quite hard to cut, so I'm just straightening the bottom of that with a craft knife. So that's pretty. And I'm just using a corner rounder. So that's our journal card. I'm going to stitch around it, and I'm also going to add some eyelets. Let me just work out. So this is our centre. So I want 2 eyelets. About there. So I'll just make the holes for now. So I'm going to go away and stitch that, add the eyelets and some ribbon, and then I'll be back. So there's my finished journal card. Really like that. That's our little tag with bits of ephemera in. And this is our page wrap for a journal. So that's my design team project for this month. If you want to hang around in this video, I'm going to do a few more, I think. I'll see if I can come up with some more, and I'll do those as a show and tell in the next section. So thank you for joining me, and I'll speak to you all again soon.